Have you been ordering takeout from Minglewood every night?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I got a beer fridge and I got a grill. So
That's all you need.
that's it, man.
All right, it's official. We're live. It's Homie Cast 28. We got Chris McCarthy, Scottie Mack, Drew Hale, Zach Sears, Jimmy Dalpiaz, and I'm your host, Joey Shimataro. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Cheers. Cheers to you guys.
I'm just getting the stuff where it needs to go.
Yes, please.
And
It's a virtual cheers.
once that's up, I'll close that window.
Lots to talk about on the Homie Cast today, I was told.
Well, we have some topics. I like it when we have topics. Ah, yes, it works. All right.
Joe, I like the new hat.
You see that? What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Is that nice?
I like that.
Hardcore carnivore, baby.
It's spelled wrong, though. Carnivore is spelled wrong.
Yeah, it's backwards.
It's right.
I wish it is. I know you. I don't fall for your tricks anymore. But our special guest tonight is Zach Sears, though, from Minglewood. They're back. Minglewood is back.
We are back.
This is like one more big sign of hope for our community.
Yes.
And
Face of hope, Zach.
and he's going to give us a rundown of what they've been doing and how it's been going. So why don't you take it from there, Zach, and explain where you're at right now too.
Okay, so right now I am quarantined off myself from everybody into our function room right now. So which is the old Minglewood Tavern, the front room. So I'm hanging out in there. We're doing takeout 7 days a week. So we're doing Monday through Friday. We open at 4 and close at 9. And then Saturday and Sunday we open at 12 and close at 9 as well. And it's very, very easy. You literally, you can get delivery or we can drop it off right in your car, right in the parking lot.
I can vouch for that.
We have 3. Yeah, you've done it before. We've just got a third line open now. We had 2, so we got 3 lines now because the phone just doesn't stop ringing, just nonstop. We want to make sure we get everybody so there's not long waits. So we've got 3 lines starting tonight. We have a big chalkboard sign we put outside, and it'll be my cell phone number is outside. So when you pull up, you just text my number with your name, your car, and the color of your car, and we bring it right out to you. That way we keep our phone lines open. Wow. So you just text my cell phone, and then we keep all 3 of our lines open because it just goes until literally almost 9 o'clock every night. So we want to keep those lines open. Pretty easy.
Does it go off at 9:01 before you head home, Zach?
Well, if it rings at 9:05 and I'm here, I'll answer it. But it seems to be tapering off around 8:30 pretty consistently, except for Saturdays. Saturdays we go, beyond 9 sometimes. But for the most part, it's been tapering off around 8:30.
What's the top seller? Are people ordering sushi? What are you selling?
Definitely selling a lot of sushi. We're selling a lot of Bentwater drafts too for beer lovers out there.
Wow.
Yeah, but definitely sushi. Selling a ton of wings and chicken tenders, burgers, all the pub grub. And every week we've expanded the menu. So I wanted to start off a little bit slower, on a smaller basis, just so we can get kind of comfortable with the takeout. Because the last thing we want to do is come out of the gate and make mistakes. So we started out slower, quieter the first couple days, and then we expanded as we went along. We have some more things. Like this week, we added more. We added pulled pork. We added pulled pork nachos. Next week, we're going to add fried clams and lobster rolls and all that good stuff. So
that's
Any
awesome.
Head left on tap.
Big shout out to Lindsay Wood for Bentwater right there too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Any fiddlehead left on tap?
We have fiddlehead. Yep, that's probably the second biggest seller.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, you drink a 36-ounce bottle of that fiddlehead like I did the last time I was there, and brought it home. I fell right to sleep after dinner.
You go right to bed after that.
Every time Chris wants to put a punch list together, he drinks one of those and then waits about a half hour and then he calls me.
Nice.
But the response has been kind of overwhelming. I think we spoke about this earlier, but it's a huge pent up demand right now for what you guys offer, and there's been that hole in our community. Those places like you and Tono and Seaport Grill, and slowly things are ramping up. But it seems like the response has been does it seem like it's a sustainable response?
I mean, it's our staff is like through the moon. Like they can't believe the outcome, the generosity of everybody. I mean, people really want to take care of their favorite bartenders and servers and cooks and everything. So, I mean, we've just been so busy, and it's just a testament to how great people are, and the staff is great, and everyone really wants to keep everyone going. So, Lost is special in that way.
Absolutely. So the liquor that that you could buy liquor as well. Are you just working off the inventory that you have, or are you actually going to be taking in liquor deliveries?
So we're doing beer and wine, and we had some stock already, obviously. But things like the Oyster Bay that sells the most, that's the most popular wine we have. That's something I've been having to order because we've been running out.
Wow.
So there's certain things that we've been flying through, and some things that we're just kind of moving through. The Arctic Summers have been really popular, so we brought those in this week. And every week we're just kind of adding a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
What seems like what's the hot seltzer right now? Because Chris is a big seltzer drinker, and he wanted what right now is your biggest seller on seltzer?
The Arctic Raspberry is probably the most popular, and based on last summer's sales, that was definitely the most popular. Grapefruit was probably a close second.
Did you guys have the high noons?
No,
you didn't carry that one.
No.
Chris, have you tried the Arctic, Chris?
I did, or I have, at Minglewood. So I've tried that one. I mean, Bud Light Seltzer, Corona Seltzer.
Night Shift's doing one called.
Night Shift. I've tried Night Shift. I don't like Night Shift as much.
No, okay.
Bud Light Seltzer Strawberry is now my favorite.
Nice.
I mean, I can consume about 6 of those in about an hour, pretty easily.
Nice.
Craig Kimberly has a question for Chris. Chris, have you tried Zima lately? Have you broken up?
The last time I tried,
I was gonna throw a Purple Passion or something like that.
Last time I tried Zima, I was a sophomore in high school at the Liberty Tree Mall at the food court. There was a place selling Zima.
Oh my God, it's bananas.
Passion came in a 2-liter bottle.
Is that right?
It's right. That is right. Purple Passion came in a 2-liter bottle.
That's funny.
Zach, who will be? How many people do you have behind the line right now? How many chefs are there working right now?
We have anywhere from 6 to 8 because we really want to get the guys and girls back to work.
Wow.
And also we're just trying to be as quick and efficient as possible. So, takeout orders at our busiest time have still only been, 35 to 45 minute wait time for like our busiest because we're cranking.
Have you implemented anything through the website, like as far as ordering directly or anything like that, or?
We had a meeting about that earlier this week, and we're talking about possibly doing that. We started off just by adding the third line today to help open up the lines, and we're going to see where that goes from there.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, I got 2 questions. The first one is when people are texting you saying, hey, I'm ready for my pickup. Are they coming in, texting you saying, here's my order?
No. So if some people have been getting confused and they'll text me their order and I just reply back to call the restaurant. It's just a lot more efficient that way because I have literally stations built, more than 6 feet apart and everyone has everything they need in front of them. It's much faster. I'm not tied to one area. I'm over here helping bag food. I'm in the kitchen helping cook food sometimes. I'm running out bringing food. So I don't tie myself down to one station. So when people text me that they wanted to place an order, I just tell them to call the restaurant line.
Yeah. And the other thing is when you do your drinks, what do you put in a red Solo cup with saran wrap? How are you putting it out there?
Yeah, and a little Malibu straw. No, so we have Happy Belly that we do the cold brew coffees. We have 32-ounce bottles, and we just snap them on. Once they snap on, they're locked, and the seal's not broken until you get home. So we just pour them right in there.
I have a question for Zach. Since at your capacity right now for opening, is there any guidelines that have been expressed to you in like phase one of reopen, as to how many people, what percentage? Is there, Vito Ferrara says 25 inside, 50 outside to start. Is that how that's going, or?
I haven't heard anything concrete, but I've heard tons of speculation, but I haven't got any like concrete information. I've heard 25, I've heard 50%, I've heard
Board of Health or anything, right?
no, nothing yet. I mean, according to Governor Baker, he said that tomorrow or the next day they're going to be releasing more guidelines to follow. I mean, I expect it to be 25%, maybe 50%. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, more outside and less inside, or maybe no inside. I don't know yet, but either way, we're going to get those guidelines and map out the restaurant as fast as possible.
Oh,
I heard a rumor that Hale Design Build was being contracted to build all outside bars for every restaurant in Gloucester for the fee of the bar tab. I mean,
I heard that too, and I like it. If you could start tomorrow, that'd be great.
yeah, exactly, right?
All in favor?
Yeah, say aye.
He built my house. He built my house for free. All I have to do is buy him drinks whenever I see him at a bar. I mean, it's a great deal.
Spread the word.
All the Zimas he wants.
Nice.
Have you guys considered doing any like family? I noticed a lot of other restaurants are doing family-sized dinners,
Family meals.
as opposed to individual orders.
We've talked about that. I haven't gotten many requests for it, but if that's something that becomes a thing that people want us to do, then I will absolutely do it. I'm pretty much taking this every week to week. We're literally changing and redoing things to improve. So if somebody, if I got requests for it, I would do it. I know one of the times I put up a link, I had literally said, if you see something that if you don't see something on the menu that you're used to getting, email me and I can most likely get it within a few days. So we've already expanded our menu twice.
Have you gone through some of the market items that you're offering, Zach? Have you talked?
Like if we ran out?
No, have you talked about some of the market items that you're offering?
No, not yet. So we have, we're selling toilet paper and paper towel. Toilet paper for $1, paper towels for $2, and there's no limit to that. You can order as many as you want. Flour in 3-pound bags, sugar in 4-pound bags. Our breakwater coffee that we roast at Happy Belly. Our cold brew coffee that we make at Happy Belly, gloves of all sizes. Eggs, all the dairy. So milk, butter, eggs, any of that nature we can get. We've been selling, and eggs and flour seem to be two of the big ones.
Yeah, a lot of people are baking right now. A lot of people are doing pizza right now. It seems like. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and I think like a lot of people come in for those items and then will buy, dinner as well.
Yeah.
Zach,
A ton of flour. Flour is definitely the most popular, with probably, milk and toilet paper probably the next two most popular things.
Zach, are you doing pizza at Manglewood right now?
No, not right now. No.
I look forward to a day when you fire up that wood fired. I love that pizza. I thought that it was the only one in town that was doing it like that. I love that wood fired pizza you had. Yeah, really good.
We definitely have some plans for that down the road, but not anything soon right now.
Ooh, exciting.
Hey.
And I'll be sure to talk about it on the podcast next time. Have more information about it. But right now it's not hooked up.
Gotcha.
Let's hope we don't have to go that far, but let's hope we can just walk inside.
Yeah, let's hope.
Who
was your first golden ticket winner?
Anthony Gigoloni.
From next door?
He's cousins to next door.
Cousins to next door. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
He was the lucky winner last Thursday.
So you do that on a weekly basis, right?
Yeah, so we do it at a totally random day. Whenever today I say today's the day we're gonna do it, and we do it. And when it's gone, and we start all over again on Sunday.
What is the golden ticket? Why don't you explain to the viewers?
So the golden ticket is it's a $100 gift card that we're giving away at random, basically. So I'll drop it in someone's bag in a to-go box. It says congratulations. They get home, they're opening the box, and all of a sudden there it is.
That's awesome.
They can use it whenever they want.
Scottie, can you do a roll call right now for us?
I was just going to suggest that. I'm glad you're on your toes tonight, Joe. Here it is. Roll call for HomieCast. Craig Kimberly, Vito Ferrara, A lot of Craig Kimberly and Vito Ferrara.
They might be drinking. They might be drinking with us tonight.
Matt Nicastro, Andy Rashawn, Jeff Thomas, Mick LaFata, one of your boys.
Hey, Mick.
Hey, Mick.
Martell, Nicole Wadsworth Strap.
Oh,
Richard,
one of your boys.
You know something? One of these days we'll have Nicole on the Homie Cast. She might be the only woman that we could have on the Homie Cast because she's like one of the guys.
don't start invading McCarthy's space now, Joey. Nick Gigaloni, Jackie Latham, Marcy Myler Plant, Sherry Zisick,
Hey, Sherry.
Heather Ann Sears, Derek Holt. Holty is watching. And yeah, the list goes on. Those are only the people that chimed in. We know that there were other viewers out there that are watching this, and we encourage everybody right now to go to the bottom right hand of your Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook and hit the share button so we can share this Homie Cast with everybody out there. Thank you.
Thanks, Scotty. Good job, buddy. I can always rely on you for doing the right thing.
Yep.
Zach, are you going to be able to hang out with us, or do you have to rip?
No, I can hang for a little while. If I disappear, that means the restaurant needs me. But as of right now, we're okay.
At any time, you can.
All right.
You don't feel like you have to. Would love to have you. So whatever happens. And is there anything that you wanted to add in that we didn't talk about, just in case?
I did want to add that Fisherman's Wharf. We had partnered up with Fisherman's Wharf, and they were selling out of our building. They got this amazing
Truck. Van.
kitchen truck that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They just got it. Their graphics are all done, so they did move back into their lot. They're awesome neighbors, and you should definitely check out their fish because their fish is outstanding, and
Yeah.
I stand by it.
We've been posting. Their Pat Dalpiaz actually has been posting their updates when they release them. That's been a nice service they've been providing for the public.
Yeah, they're fast. They're efficient. It was taking 16-second transactions the other day when I was watching them. It is very
crazy.
fast.
That's awesome, and that's
Yeah.
for that's for is it prepackaged like in sizes so they could just
Yeah, so it's 2 pound bags of haddock and 1 pound bags of scallop, and they have a little the cube on the phone. You just swipe the credit card and go, and it's easy,
Yeah.
easy.
I-
Very
I-
fast.
I swung by there last Saturday, to buy a bag of haddock and scallops for my mother for Mother's Day. That was one of her many gifts. And that truck is brand new. It's absolutely amazing. And the cool thing was when I paid for it, they just held out the little square that I stuck my card in, that I didn't even have to touch anything. So it was pretty cool experience.
contactless. I'd like to mention Ricky Marshall just joined us, and big shout out because we were at Marshall's farm stand yesterday, Ricky, getting some produce for the family. So big shout out to Marshall's farm stand, who's they've been operating in this times. And I went by Wolf Hill today and got some hanging plants for my. We'll get to this in a second. My hummingbird feeder, because I have a problem with the Dalpiaz family with the hummingbirds. Hey, honey.
I made 3 trips to Wolf Hill today for Christian D Landscaping.
Hey, nice plug right there, Scotty. What kind of work? Scotty's lost about 40 pounds landscaping.
All right.
I gotta tell you, it's like boot camp every day, and it actually has trimmed me down. I'm very grateful to actually be working, and especially to be able to work outside, and for such a great guy. So there's that plug for Christian D, and thanks for helping me shed some pounds.
I think Christian D knows how to grow hair too, because Scotty's hair is like flowing these days.
Luxurious mane. Yes, he has a luxurious mane.
He technically hasn't lost any weight because it's all gone to that hair. That
Yeah, you know what, Drew Hale, you just solved my mystery of why I just can't break that threshold.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at that glow behind him there. That he has a certain glow now.
He's an angel.
Drew,
Soul flow.
Drew, you're all cleaned up there. You got fresh shave, haircut. Did Lindsay take care of you with the trimmers?
Yeah, at night she just spreads Nair all over my face. I get up in the morning and I shower.
We did not do our normally when we start the homie cast, we talk about what we're drinking. Scotty, why don't you start us off? What are you drinking, Scotty?
So it's no secret here that I like my wine, and this evening it's again Pinot Noir by Bread and Butter. It seems to be one of my favorites that I found out there. Very smooth, very easy to drink, and very light. So
I'll go next. I'm drinking Wimpy Beer, Coors Light. We're going to be drinking some bourbon on Thursday, so I am saving my booze for Thursday night. Jimmy, what are you drinking?
I'm doing the bourbon now. I've got my Buffalo Trace. It's in here.
Very nice, very nice.
boy, Jimmy.
Zach, you gotta plug the cold brew.
Yeah, I've got Breakwater Roasters. We brew it up at the former Happy Valley.
And you can get
Keeps me
it.
going.
And you can get it at Minglewood. What time? What's the earliest you can get a cold brew at Minglewood?
We open at 4:00, except for Saturday and Sunday. We're open at 12, so you can come at either day.
There you go. Drew, what are we drinking?
Lindsay poured me a grapefruit vodka. Scotty, what's the name of the grapefruit vodka that we always get at the rum line? Deep Eddies.
AKA
Grapefruit.
known as Timmy, after Timmy Matheson.
Yeah, that Timmy Matheson. He'll buy you one or two at the rum line, and that's my drink of choice.
You order a Timmy at the rum line, that's what you're getting.
Yes.
Dr. Zacharias told us on the last homie cast that grapefruit enhances the effects of Viagra. So Dr. Z, the urologist, number one urologist on the North Shore, he said that is factual. That is that's not an urban myth.
I think Lindsay's trying to tell Drew something.
No. Listen, I've seen Dr. Z, and next time he's on, I have a great story about that experience.
Oh,
his office is terrific. The whole operation is top notch.
I'm telling you, anybody that's gone there has nothing but great things to say. And okay, here's the other question, Drew: is there anything to fear getting a vasectomy? Like, do you think that there's a lot of unfounded fears about vasectomies?
I think it's all rumor. I really do.
Yeah.
And like I said, I could do a whole segment on this, but I mean, I went in there, and first of all, it was the best sleep I've gotten in about 15 years. I was only out for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Deep REM.
I went back to work. This was right before I built the bar at Captain Carlos. I went back to work. I was building the bar the 2 days after.
Yep. I was back at the dock 2 days later, and I was at Halibut Point for not drinking beer, but I was at Halibut Point having a chicken sandwich the afternoon I got my vasectomy. And
Hey, Drew, the next time you're going to feel like that is when you go for your colonoscopy.
I had a bad experience with my colonoscopy, but I won't talk about that. I will not talk about that. I had a real bad experience.
I think I drink vodka. They say it thins everything out, so I'm just going for that.
The worst thing about a colonoscopy is the prep. It's not the procedure; it's the prep.
It's the prep. Yeah. In my case, I think it stripped all my my immune system. I got sick afterwards. I had a bad virus for about 3 weeks afterwards.
But Joe, I saw on the blog earlier today. It's great that you're adapting. Many businesses are adapting these days, and you're going to be doing vasectomies out of the wharf starting next week.
He's using lobsters.
Yeah, exactly.
It's squat, and I'm going to stick a lobster right underneath you. Right? And if he doesn't like you, he's going to use the pressure claw. If you're okay with him, he's going to use the.
Yeah.
Just don't use any towels.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be nasty, man. McCarthy, we didn't get to you. What are you drinking?
I opted to eat instead, and Zach's going to be upset at me. I actually made my first chicken and waffle dinner.
Oh,
Wow, that was good.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'll have to send you guys the recipe, but
You've been experimenting a lot with the cooking lately.
I
Yeah,
have.
I'm impressed with some of those posts I see on Instagram.
I'm proud of myself.
Jody,
It doesn't take rocket science, but like I've shared, it's time consuming. You gotta start prepping early.
Jody Dowd Mitchell is watching, and she says that she may be the only female watching, but no, Michelle Interante Cooper just logged on as well. But Jody Dowd Mitchell is it her brother or her husband?
Her husband.
Her
Phil.
husband has the champions in Peabody, right?
Champions in Peabody, right?
Yeah.
Right. And Jody's quite a cook herself. I follow her, and she's cooking up a storm. She's always cooked up a storm.
Every day she has a new
North
post.
Shore. What is it? North Shore Cooks. Yeah, North Shore Cooks. Follow her on Instagram.
I'm sure
she gets very creative.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into our first. What's that? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scottie.
Jody said she must be the only female watching right now, and so Jody, you're not alone. Devlin Brackett's watching as well. So there's two of you.
There's a couple. I've been seeing a couple of female names going by there. I think they're all there here for Scottie.
Yeah, with a new hairdo.
No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing, Scottie. So we're gonna get into our first question, and you guys, and I'm gonna start with. We'll start with Drew. Here's the question: if you could pick any decade to spend your 20s, which decade would it be?
The 70s.
70s. Okay, and you want to expound on that? I think we could probably think about it. That was before AIDS.
Yeah. So that's number one.
Well, that's what my mind goes. Unprotected sex, right?
Yeah. The music, definitely. I was just listening to Jackson Browne tonight, and I love the Eagles and all that stuff. So definitely the music, the cars.
Yeah.
Love myself a muscle car. Love the boats, the vintage boats, the old Hatterses, the Bertrams, all that kind of stuff. It's funny because I have, my Uncle Wayne and my father, and they spent a lot of summers, and my Uncle Wayne Hale grew up from 18 years old on here. And I mean, his stories about the parties around here were insane.
I think he was a Cape Ann Marina guy.
Oh yeah.
I
yeah.
think he was.
Him and Ellis Hodgkins and some of those old guys. The one story that sticks in my mind is when he said that Ellis he had a motorcycle, and he used to take his motorcycle and he'd actually ride the motorcycle down the steps into the rudder, right? And then wheel the motorcycle into the kitchen and then go sit at the bar.
Savage.
Yeah.
Well, the Rocky Neck back in the day was a scene too. Was a scene. Yeah. Much more insane than it is now. I remember when I was like early 20s and I was looking to buy my first piece of property, I was, Rocky Neck was pretty reasonable. Rocky Neck was pretty reasonably priced. And there was a 3-family on Rocky Neck for $150,000. And I told my father I was going to buy it, and he forbid me to buy it. It had views. It had views. It was right next to that A-frame when you come down, and it has views of Smith's Cove. And he forbid me to buy it, and it was the last financial decision I ever listened to my father again, was when he said, "Don't buy that 3-family on Rocky Neck for $150,000."
And you guys were cranking in the 70s, right, Joe? Like your shop was.
The business, the Captain Joe's was cranking in the 70s.
Not that you're not now. I'm not saying
no,
that. But
well, it's definitely come back. No, it's not. It's nothing the way they were. I'm not embarrassed to say. I mean, not much is like the way it was. Like the 70s were pretty good. The 80s were the start of a bad decline. The 90s, right. the 90s were terrible. And then we got into the lobster business when we graduated from college, and that's where we built the business back up.
Yeah, you were doing ground fish were you doing ground fish in the 70s?
70s and 80s. We sold your father, obviously. I mean, is this where you're going? We sold your father. Actually, before my cousin and I took over the business, our fathers sold 100% of the groundfish to your father and your uncle.
All the way up to the 80s, huh?
All the way, yeah, up to the 80s. And then when Frank and I took over, we started expanding the business. We
Cool.
took on quite a few more boats, and your father and your uncle were kind of like ramping down.
Yeah.
And then we had to we started dealing with North Coast, who was very good to us. The Stavis brothers and stuff. They were just
Cool.
we were very fortunate to work with your father and your uncle, and then Jimmy Stavis and Norm Stavis were gentlemen. There's not a lot of gentlemen, but we were fortunate to work with some gentlemen in the business. So that was great. Scottie, we're going to go to you. What decade for you?
Just repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Which decade would you choose to spend your 20s? And
The
why?
The 50s.
The 50s. Okay, go ahead.
Excuse me. Pretty nostalgic. I'd like to go back in time and see, like, almost like in Back to the Future, when he went back and all the cool cars and the the different colors at the time that they were painting different houses and just the decor and clothing and the way of life. I just like to experience that in my 20s and see what the progression was coming up, leading to the 60s music.
The women were pretty tight though. Like back in the 50s,
Yeah, but,
I don't think you would have done much damage back then.
so I mean, just that and the music. I mean, look at Motown. Motown has given us some of the best music, in my opinion. A lot of stuff is derived out of Motown, and it's no secret. I'm a huge fan of reggae, and reggae actually was derived from Motown. They tried to mimic themselves off of Motown. If you look at early Bob Marley and the skinny ties and the suits and the haircuts before the dreads, and you listen to the sound, they were trying to emulate Motown.
I didn't realize that.
I would go back to the 50s.
There you go. Jimmy Dalpiaz, you're up.
Well, unfortunately, I lived my 20s in the 70s, but if I had to, I go back in the 60s. I just growing up, I was watching my older brother and my older sister going through all that stuff, and I love what they did. And
What? Give me some examples.
oh, well, they were experimenting with not only the booze, the friends, the drugs, the doing all that stuff, and doing it on the side without, quote unquote, getting caught. Because being from the big Catholic family, Italian Catholic family, man, you got caught. Not only did they do novenas and they turned your picture upside down and lit candles every night, but what am I, Joey? What am I telling? So to watch them get through all that, and the stuff I know about the 60s, I'd like to be older than when I was in the 60s. I think I would have enjoyed that more.
Okay. Chris McCarthy.
I would say the 80s. The high school days were awesome. I had an opportunity to meet Joe Shimataro in 80, 82, 83.
Your lovely wife.
And I met my lovely wife then. And then the whole transition from high school to college, I look back. I mean, a lot of my friends are still from high school and my college days. And, we had a blast, a lot of great memories from that particular decade.
Zach, you're up, buddy.
So I was going to say 80s as well. In my 20s, I grew up watching Super Bowl wins and basketball championships and Stanley Cups and World Series. So that was pretty awesome. But I would go back to the 80s. I've been watching The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary.
I haven't seen it. How is it?
Oh my God, it's so good. It is awesome.
I
make my wife sit through it every Sunday. I make her sit through it. It's awesome.
Can I go back and check? Is that like on demand? I wonder.
Yeah, I think so. It's ESPN and Netflix did this documentary.
Oh, great.
And so I think you can watch it on Mondays, the previous day on Netflix.
Okay, cool. All right, I gotta check
it's
it
awesome.
out.
And they
What's your takeaway on Jordan? Was he a prick, or was he passionate about winning, and that's what it was about? Or like what's your takeaway so far of how many of the episodes you've seen?
I think he was passionate. I think he was a leader. And I think that he expected everyone to give their all like he was, and that's how you win championships. So, and some of those matches in the late '80s against the Pistons and the Lakers, and those are some grueling games to watch. And obviously the Celtics dominated, the first half of the '80s. So that was awesome. So definitely the '80s for the sport guy in me. Seeing the bad boy Pistons slam Jordan and him get right back up and just keep going. Should definitely watch the documentary.
Did they make any reference to? I think his father got killed, right? And there was a rumor.
The last two episodes talked about his father being shot. I didn't know that at the time that he was shot, and they didn't find him for like a month.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I had no idea where he was.
I see. I didn't even realize that. Okay, yeah. We're gonna go around. Oh, Zach, are you finished with your thing?
Yep.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah. That was it.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay.
No,
Jordan, who's the best basketball player? Is it Jordan or LeBron? And give your reason.
Jordan
for you. McCarthy.
Yep.
Larry Bird.
Okay, interesting. Drew.
Yeah, I was gonna follow Chris and say Larry Bird, but if you want me to pick one of those, it's gonna be Jordan.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Jimmy.
Oh, definitely Jordan. Just more on the court, not only with his ability, but his ability.
Yep.
And Scottie?
I'm gonna go with McCarthy and Drew, and not to follow the bandwagon, but I feel exactly the same way. I mean, not just because a hometown person, sort of like when hometown people go for Brady, but Bird. I mean, just the numbers are there, the championships are there, and then, but if you had to pick, I go Jordan.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you guys all say that, and up until this past year, I would have said Jordan, and I vehemently despise LeBron. I despise him with every fiber in my body. I despise him. But I think physically, as a specimen, his size and the way he handles the ball, like he handles the ball almost like a point guard. His passing and his assists and his size all together, I feel like. And I hate saying it because I fucking hate the guy. I hate him. But I truly feel like, I don't know. I just feel like he's such a beast. He's such a, but I don't know if it's also because the way they call the games nowadays is so different than the way they called them back in the 80s. Like, you can't, they don't drive the lane like they used to. Like, they wouldn't just heave up 3-pointers all game. You'd be on the bench. And back then, the game back then was working the ball inside, driving the paint.
They always talk about how if LeBron played in the '80s, this and that. If Jordan played now, he'd average 40 points a game. Jordan would score all day long against this lack of defense that they have in the league now. So I like to see Jordan play now as opposed to LeBron play in the '80s.
That's fair. That's fair.
Agreed with that, Zach. He can make free throws too.
That's fair. That's definitely a fair point. Well, I agree.
Remember too that, yeah, and Joe, you're right. I mean, from a physical standpoint, maybe he, LeBron is dominant, but I think years ago there was a different element in guys that played sports that was all encompassing of team and winners and a different sort of character in sports that, and I hate to say it because maybe I'm biased, but it doesn't exist as much today. You don't see those iconic Larry Birds or Jordans, and people will make arguments against it, but I mean, they weren't out there just physically. They were just mentally controlling the game. They brought the fans into it. They brought the whole thing together. So, I think that's why people just say, when you ask them, Michael Jordan or Larry Bird or Ray Bork,
Celtics, hands down.
Yeah.
So
The other thing that I'd like to point out though is I think any like professional athlete today, conditioning wise, is an elite athlete compared to anybody that was, except for maybe a few players in the 80s. They did
100%.
not. I mean, you got these guys. These guys are like scientifically trained from, and the way they have leagues like set up for gifted athletes from the time they are 7 years old all the way up there. They're competing against savages like all the way up. Just elite athletes, and the way they're getting nutrition and training. Like if you look at some of the doughboy teams of the 80s, they do not look particularly buff.
No.
And like every player on not every player, but 95% of any athlete that's playing on a professional level today is just like absolute savage beast, like animal, like shredded, like just elite. So
yeah, we saw that through when just at like the brink of when I was at Merrimack, we saw that with hockey. It's just we were right on the cusp of when everybody was just becoming a machine.
Yeah.
And then you go back to professional hockey, like those guys used to smoke in the locker room.
Right.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe and I saw a lot of that in high school when he was on the tennis team and I was on the golf team. I mean, you should see the size of the tennis players and the golfers these days.
Elite athletes, for sure. Oh boy! All right, we got to go on to our next topic. Our next topic is based on your high school resume. So you have to be realistic. All right, you have to be realistic. Based on your grades and your SATs or whatever in high school, would you have gone to the same college that you went to, or would you have gone a completely different route in a different type of school? Like say you went to a small school, would you have gone to a big would you do a redo of what you did exactly, or would you switch it up? Well, we'll start with Chris because he was the last one last time.
That's a good question, Joe. I'm happy with the decision I made. I got recruited by Boca Raton College to play golf. So I often think about what my life, that was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, you're always thinking about what your wife wants. Yeah.
What my wife would look like and my life would look like if I had gone down to Florida as opposed to staying here up north. But if I were to do it again, I would definitely look at a southern school. I had the opportunity to travel to some of the southern schools when Brendan and Connor were looking, and University of South Carolina. Connor looked at him and I went down there, and I sat there. My jaw was open. I'm like, wow, this would have been an unbelievable experience to have gone here. So looking back, it would have been cool to pick one of those huge party football schools if I could get in.
I think
That's the big question.
I think they put a premium on Northeast students down there. Like
So do you think I got a shot? Should I try to get in?
Could you imagine? You imagine going to class? You wouldn't be able. You wouldn't. No.
Back to school with Rodney Dangerfield.
You'd be the perfect. Listen, if they were going to cast anyone for that role right now, it would be you. It would be you. All right, we're going to go to Scottie Mack. What would you do?
Well, see, and I'll tell you what I did and what I would do. I went for criminal justice. I took a civil service exam and thought I was going to become a police officer at the time. I left college. I never went back and finished. But on the upside of the silver lining, I have 0 student loans. So I'm winning. in that aspect. But I started my own business and I knew what I wanted to do, and I'm still doing it. And this year, and I can't even celebrate yet, 30 years in business.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that Scottie Mac is doing a 30-year reunion once all this is lifted on the beaches of Jamaica, where he started as an MTV DJ for spring break.
Oh my
He's-
God.
He's flying everyone from Gloucester first class down.
Scotty, is that true? With MTV? Are
I-
you?
I work for a company called StudentCity.com. We partnered with MTV, and yes, I was the DJ on the beach in the Grill, Jamaica.
That couldn't
for
have been any fun. That couldn't have been any fun.
0. No, I did Cancun, Mexico, Nassau, Bahamas, and South Padre Island.